allows you to
I'm
stay
comfortable with my abandonment.
because you are in your dysfunctional norm.
Let me tell you, ladies, not just as a psychologist, I'm telling you this as a man. Nick Cannon full of shit. I'm just a man wanting all those kids by that many different women intentionally. It's only for his own ego. I'm telling you this as a man. Like, and let me tell you why it's for his own ego. Because it's like, it's a woman everybody knows. We'll just use Beyonce. Beyonce is an easy woman that everybody can recognize. If I can have Beyonce, Rihanna, Halle Berry, Angelina Jolie, Scarlett Johansson, Anne Hathaway, I can have all these women, have my child, let me do what I want, and still have dominion over them, why wouldn't I do that? It's part of people only allow you to get away with. You only allow people to get away with by your boundaries, or however they said it. This is part of it. Now, at any point in time, any man who's used to getting women or comfortable with women, we've all thought of it. We've all thought of having multiple women and all this other stuff. And, oh yeah, she make a great mom. She make a great mom too. As you mature, you get older, you realize how unrealistic that is and how detrimental that is to your child when you grow up. And that's also when you have to sit in reality. Nick Cannon is a celebrity. He's been a celebrity since he was a kid. Cam Newton been a celebrity since he was essentially a kid. A lot of these people have been celebrities since they were a kid. So reality is already completely different for them. It has always been completely different for them. So hearing no and all this other stuff. But your average, one person to live comfortably in the United States right now, they say there's roughly $150,000 a year you need to make for one person. Now, if you add in just a woman, now we're talking about 300,000. Now you add in a child, we're talking about 450. That's like less than 2% of the population around the world that makes $400,000 a year. Now we're talking about in terms of somebody, Nick Cannon, who probably brings in 10 to 20 million a year. That is no money, not no real money, not no significant money. So you can have 6, 7, 8, 9 kids with women, and it doesn't phase you. You just have to maybe work a little harder so your revenue goes up a little more. But he's already has access to these rooms and these places where it doesn't phase him to do that. But at the end of the day, it's really just, it's a tad bit narcissistic, and it's just for your own ego to even want to do that. Because you can have plenty of kids, but why do you need 8, 9, 10, 11 women to have kids with? You don't need that many women to have kids with. It is unrealistic to do that and somewhat selfish. And Dr. Brian Wright is a little predatory because, the stigma that has, well, it's not even stigma, it's kind of biology where, as women get older, it's harder to have kids and this and that and other stuff. So when you have these women who are 35, 36, 37, 40 having kids with a man who has multiple kids already, it's more so for them than even for him, because it's like, I don't want to be alone, I don't want to die alone, and I don't know if I'll ever get married to the man that I want to marry to, so what do? Alright, he's a good guy, he's a decent dude, at least I'll have a kid, he has great genes. But even in terms of him, it's detrimental, because if I'm not mistaken, he has lupus. Statistically, one of his kids is likely to have lupus and live with that. Not saying he shouldn't have kids with that, but it's like now you've already burdened somebody else with something that you have, all because you just couldn't check your own ego. So I don't care what a man tell you what he says, ladies. When he want to have multiple kids like that intentionally, all over the place like that, it's for his own ego. Whether you choose to accept that or not is on you, but it's 100% for his own ego. Oh, that's another point I want to bring up too. These are men who have commitment issues. Your average man can't afford to have commitment issues. And here's why. Like I said, Nick Cannon makes millions of dollars a year. Your average man makes 60 to 80,000 a year. He can barely afford himself more or less multiple women and having kids by multiple women. It's just not realistic. So when you're talking to an average man and you believe he has commitment issues, no, he probably just kind of feels like you're not the one. But when you're talking to men who make millions and all that other stuff, he probably has commitment issues because he has access to so many women and he can afford to have access to so many women. There's a difference. You can have an attractive man who has access to a lot of women, but he can't afford a lot of women. So because he can't afford a lot of women, his limit might be one or two. Or even if he isn't as attractive, but he has the financial means, he might have more access to more women. But when you add access and a high income, or extremely high income like him, that's when you run into commitment issues. Not saying your average man can't have commitment issues, but it's more deep. Those commitment issues are more deep rooted in being hurt versus Nick Cannon's is more because of his own ego.